Hello Tubesters, it's Gav and welcome to one of my videos. Today we're looking at a Celtic warrior from the 3rd century BC. It's a 54mm resin figure and it was sculpted by Raul Garcia Latorre. Latorre. I'm very sorry Raul if I've demolished your name. And it was of course painted. I don't know if some of you might note it. If you're into your figures you'll know the style straight away, and that's Marc Masclans. Very famous painter of figures. He has a very distinctive style, and is often, a lot of the guys these days are copying what he does. Well, I say copying, but you know, he's influencing how a lot of painters paint. I've loved this figure for years. I don't believe it's not been that long since he's done the box art for this, but the figure's been around a while, I believe. And it's just a really simple figure, as you can see on the box. A guy holding his sword up, shield in hand, and there's no extra details. Obviously, you could paint tattoos on him and change trouser colours and all the rest of it. Some people use it as an example of how Marc does his painting, and you know, they try and replicate it. I love Marc's style, but I don't think I'll be going down that road. I'll just be doing it in my own my own bodgy way of how I paint. But I'm a big fan of his style of painting, and as I say, I saw this figure and I've been umming and ahhing whether to get it or not, and I took the plunge and bought it. So this cost me £22. I didn't have to pay any packaging because I got it from a local show. So it comes in that plastic box, and what you get is the figure itself. Let's see if we can get in a bit closer. I'll hold it further down in a minute. I'm just trying to, obviously I'll have to do it in small segments, I believe. There's the face, what I would call a typical Celtic, you can call it Gaulish, whatever you want really, I suppose. Obviously this one's taken before the Romans got into Gaul. But a beautiful face. Again, torso, not coming up great under the lights, but it's all there, all the muscle tones, not overly muscle, but you know, some people say, you know, did these ancients all go around looking like they've been working out in the gym for 7 days a week? But I just believe, you know, you've got to have some type of artistic license to really make the figure what it is. You've got some very tiny torques. The torque is the little armbands and the neck bands. So here, they'll be interested in painting something that fine. And around the neck, which, yeah, we can just catch it now. Obviously, braided hair, very fine again. The sword hilt, and there's a tiny little extrusion there. And I would imagine, which I'll show you in a minute, you have to very carefully drill the base of the sword to attach it, just to help the glue hold it in place. Very, very fine lines there. Sorry for my grubby thumb. I'll actually get it out of the way because that looks awful. That'll really help sell figures. But yeah, you can't really see. But it's just that type. Unfortunately, I don't know what else to do with the light. Actually, so you need the brighter light to show the figure up. A very fine belt. Now, I've not been able to find a single air bubble hole or anything on this at all, and I wouldn't really expect from FeR, which is the name of the company that produce these range of figures. They do everything from historical and fantasy. There's a very, very fine mould line which you could put a scalpel on, but I'd probably use a very, very fine sanding just to get rid of it. This piece here is just a bit of a plug that I believe that the that the shield's going to take that off, and the shield will go in the groove in his back of his hand. There we go, there we are. Feet, there's one plug which is this right hand one, I believe, to be removed, and the other one is a deeper attachment point that should fit in at the small base that it comes with, and I'll show you in a minute. So yeah, that's my 3rd century Celt. I've got some ideas how painting him. I probably won't be doing, I want to show the torso and that off, so again it's a practice for me really, just doing skin and that, so I probably won't be doing any, you know, Celtic type tattoos or anything on him. You can always do this figure again if you really enjoy it and do it a different way. So that's my figure. Let's put it to one side. You've got 2 protective bars here when they're casting. This is obviously the sheath. This is the sword. Just a bit to take off there and a bit of a clean up. So you'd get your razor saw, cut through one, cut through that, and then you can either carry on down or cut from that side and then through. And then you probably just have to put like a little nick in the bottom just to help locate it on that little lug. But again, no warping on that, all straight as a die. Very fine sand just to take the tiny bit of, and it's that really thin see-through stuff, that tiny bit of flash, there's hardly anything there. As I say, it's like a grey, greeny type resin. Shield, fairly simple. Again, you can paint it one colour, you can paint it in the diced effect that I've seen in the artworks that they do. Tiny bit of stuff to clean off there. It's got no wood grain or anything at the back here, which would have been nice to see, but again you can paint that in, that's not too much of a problem. So that's your shield, and then the last piece, this little base. You can use the base or not, you know, it's entirely up to yourselves. I probably will and try and just slightly incorporate it with something else as well, just build it around, obviously, so you haven't got this lip round. But it's this one, I'm undecided. I might do a tiny little diorama for it, or I might just literally leave it as it is, just build around this circle here, just so it doesn't, you know, it doesn't look too just proud of the base, and then just stick it on a simple base. Again, a lot of these that I'm doing at the moment are just training pieces for me, really. As you can see, that left hand or right hand, as you're looking at it, foot locates in there. The other one's a fairly flat one, so you take that casting block off. Right, guys, that's one last look at our figure. I'll put us back to the box so we can see Marc's fantastic box art. So that's my quick review, show and tell, unboxing, whatever you want to call it, of FeR's 3rd century Celtic warrior. I'm hoping to do him fairly quick. I have promised myself that after I do the bust, that I do I've still got the 54mm Napoleonic Grenadier to do, and I'd already got some ideas for that. that wasn't until I saw this. So I don't know, whichever, it'll either be the Napoleonic 54 or this Celtic 54 after the bust, and the bust has still got a fair couple of weeks on the go on that yet. So thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. Again, these will go in my playlists for you know, I do a playlist for each figure that I review. Sometimes you might have to wait a whole year before actually anything else gets added to it as I paint the figure. It just depends what I've got on commercially, but yeah, thanks a lot for stopping by and taking a look. We'll catch each other soon on another video. Take care of yourselves.